Madden NFL 12 is all about being true to the NFL, and in a lot of respects, each one of our feature enhancements this year is about providing our core fan something they've always wanted. Zone and man coverage getting completely redone this year. A brand new tackling mechanic's been added, so collisions are all new. Contact now actually occurs when players collide instead of 2 to 3 yards apart. Of course, game flow is getting a great enhancement this year with all new custom playbooks. And on top of that, great presentation this year, all new graphics, features. We've got a lot of really great things coming.
This year, one of the big enhancements was getting to broadcast. We really wanted to deliver what everyone sees on their couch on Sunday, and a lot of camera initiatives. We started with multiple field trips to working with CBS on game days. So we had our entire design team do basically a ride-along where we're in pre-pro meetings with the director, the cameramen. We're walking around the stadium. We're understanding where the cameras are in each stadium, why they're there, how they're used, and we're given a lot of their top secret industry insider details about, what each person's assignment is on game day. This year, EA Canada has a new tech that's, movie buffs will know from something like James Cameron and Avatar, but it's called a DCAM, and it's a virtual camera. What it allows us to do is we brought in the best cinematographers in football, NFL Films cameramen. What that allowed us to do is we brought them in, we play our scenes, they see them in their camera, and they film it just like they would. We have more variety than ever, and we have that expertise. It's not, us developers looking at reference and trying to emulate it. We just drop them in these real situations, and they film it just how they would, with the gear configured just as they would. And it feels so natural, and we have over 700 of these cameras on over 100 of our scenes, and it's all throughout the game, including pre-game, which is brand new.
Gameplay is really the bread and butter of the Madden franchise. In Madden NFL 12, we've touched on two big things in gameplay. So we have on the defensive side, zone coverage and man coverage, but I think more importantly is the art of the tackle. In Madden, historically, of course, it's a motion capture-driven game. And as we record our animations, you've got one player going against another. And in most situations, what would happen in our game is you'd have one player here, another player about 2-3 yards away, and based on their angles, based on their speed and their velocity, we would try to match up an animation that would then play through them making contact and through the actual tackle itself. What happens now in Madden is, instead of that animation starting from 2 to 3 yards apart, we actually wait for the collision to occur, and then we pick the right animation based on that situation. The reason this is important is you actually have control for that entire time. So instead of control being lost here, you have more control of both the offensive player and defensive player through the point of contact. The impact system in our game has been completely redone. Now I actually have to make that contact. There's a tackle button. On top of that, physics can inform the animation. It makes it a much more realistic feeling game. Defensively in Madden, we've touched on a number of fundamentals. We've gotten feedback in the past that defense is no fun, and more specifically that zone coverage in our game just hasn't been effective. So if you have a player, if I'm a linebacker and I've got a player running in front of me out of my zone, I need to communicate to my corner that maybe in a flat zone that he's got a guy that's coming towards him. Or if I'm in man coverage and I see a guy that's getting away from me and I know that I've got some backside help from the safety, I need to communicate that I need some help, that I got a guy going deep. So communication is a really big factor in our coverage now, so much so that it makes our game that much more effective as you're running defensive schemes.
One of the true to the game features this year was progressive lighting. Part of broadcast was understanding where the camera is in relation to the sun. So in every stadium we go to, all 32, we have the sun in the right location at the right time of day, shadows creeping across the field as you play. We've factored in things like, if you're on the West Coast and you're playing a game at 4:15 Eastern Time, it looks like 1 o'clock in San Diego. We've really struggled in the past to have something like the Eagles green look good at daytime, overcast, nighttime, snow games. With linear lighting and our new attention to detail as far as bringing in all of the uniforms, the game day uniforms, and color balancing them, we've really preserved that. In addition to that, we now have a new ball lighting model. We have a new helmet lighting. So, last year, fans of Seattle will know that, the helmet looked pretty good during the day, but at nighttime, it kind of changed color. It had this weird halo effect. Totally redone. Looks photoreal. People are going to freak out on it.
Our interaction with John is very important each and every year. He's, of course, retired from being a broadcaster, and I think that's allowed him to spend more time with us in our design team each and every cycle. This year, we spent a lot of time with John looking at broadcast. Broadcast is a real important aspect for us. And he gave us a lot of great feedback on what he would like to see in a broadcast, not just in the video game, but in an ideal world, what he would like to see as he's watching it on television on Sundays. As a coach, he wants to see more players. He doesn't like the fact that at the start of a play, the camera zooms in on the offensive player. You actually lose the entire secondary. He wants to know the entire play. He wants to see what the secondary is doing. He wants to see what the wide receivers are doing. And it's a frustration for him that he has to wait for Monday or Tuesday when he gets the special film from the NFL to really have that experience. So in our game, we've tried to take that feedback into consideration as much as possible. So he gives us a lot of great feedback there. On top of that, he's telling us about the trends of the league. You talked a lot about the pistol offense. He's also talked a lot about concussions in the NFL and how we need to model them accurately this year. And make sure that if a player is diagnosed with a concussion that he cannot come back into the game. So his goal is to provide an authentic representation of the NFL, and that's exactly what we want to do as a design team as well. So the fact that we're able to talk to him more frequently than we have before because he's now available and he's not doing broadcasts has been a really great help in that space.